Hi everyone, thank you for attending the Community and Vocational session for the District Assembly for the Rotary 2021 year. My name's Kerry Schmidt and I am the District Chair for this portfolio. Now I would especially like to welcome District Governor Mark Humphries, who is online today, and I'm sure will be available to answer questions at the end. Now online are the various champions for different district portfolios, and I will introduce them to you as we go. They actually also have chair roles for multiple district placements as well. So you've got a wealth of experience amongst the team. There they are on your screen now. Sally Dell to the left, and Trachoma, past District Governor Brian Norris doing mentoring, former Assistant Governor Peter Dell doing Dream Cricket, past District Governor Don Ripper doing action groups, which also includes fellowships, Marty Shepherd, who's taken on the role of Australian Rotary Health, Jean Malmo, who's looking after Probus, and Rob Stewart, who's looking after Environment and Sustainability Action Group. Our role from a district perspective is to empower you to do more in your clubs, to use your vocational talents to help others, to help you find meaningful projects and partners to do those projects that you hadn't thought of before, to help you celebrate your success, and to connect you with others. So on that note, I'll hand over now to past District Governor Don Ripper that will actually talk to you about action groups. Don.
Thanks, Kerry. I'm actually going to talk about Rotary Global Networks, of which the most recent addition are the Rotary Action Groups. The Rotary Global Networks are really a hidden gem in Rotary. They began a long time ago, 1928, when some Rotarians with a shared interest in Esperanto joined together as a fellowship. That didn't continue on, and we had a member of the Rotary Club of Sale was in that original group as an Esperanto speaker. In 1947, a group of Rotarian yachting enthusiasts in the UK started to fly the Rotary flag from their vessels, calling themselves the International Yachting Fellowship of Rotarians. This is the first formal Rotary fellowship and boasts the longest continuous existence. The scope of Rotary fellowships has changed a fair bit over the years, but today its purpose is to unite Rotarians in friendship and provide venues for enjoying their favourite recreational or professional activities. Fellowships have grown steadily throughout the years, which is contrary to the general trend in Rotary. In 2011, there were 32,840 Rotarians in fellowships in 104 countries, and in that year, 63% of the fellowships actually charged membership dues, with an average of $24 per year, so about the same as your RDU. And the average size of the fellowship, each of the fellowships is 550 members at that stage. Against the organisational trend, by 2014, the number of Rotarians in fellowships had raised from 32,000 to 41,000, and the average size of each fellowship going up to nearly 700 members, 692 members. There are currently, in recreational and vocational fellowships, 71 registered recreational fellowships, and some of them have actually originated in Australia, and the International Fellowship of Motorcycling Rotarians started at Berry in South Australia, and we've got Ray Sheffers on board today as well, Rotary Club of Traralgon, being its founding international chair of the International Fellowship of Cruising Rotarians. There are 11% of District 9820 members involved in one or other of the Rotary Global Network groups. 11%, so it's not unknown. There was a major change in July 2005 with the fellowships being redesignated global networking groups. Fellowships are either of a vocational nature or of a recreational nature, or are Rotarian Action Groups. And the Rotarian Action Groups actually came out of a review in 2005. The Rotarian Action Groups they offer technical expertise, and they support and help Rotary clubs implement projects to increase our impact in one of Rotary's strategic priorities. Tim's stirring me along a bit there, so the Rotarian Action Groups are within the various areas of focus, and there are, again, around about 30 Rotary Action Groups, including one that we will hear in a little while from Rob from Frankston, the Environmental Sustainability Group. It's actually interesting, there are two ESRAGs. The older ESRAG is the Endangered Species Rotary Action Group, and you're seeing Tim's just running the slides through there with the various groups according to their area of focus. Anyone can join the growing number of Rotarians who share their favourite activities and professional interests through organised recreational and vocational groups in the Rotary Fellowships, or explore new opportunities for international partnership in service in Rotary Action Groups. Whether you're interested in bird watching or motorcycling, or volunteer dentistry, or the fight against AIDS, global networking action groups are a fantastic resource for all Rotarians to develop new friendships and to advance opportunities for service. I'm going to hand over now to Rob, who is going to tell us about his particular action group, and that's environmental sustainability.
Thanks, Tom. That's really interesting. Yeah, I wasn't sure whether I was part of the older action group or the newer one, but there you go. The Environmental and Sustainability Rotary Action Group is only pretty new, the one that I'm involved with. What we've been doing is trying to get environment and sustainability as a seventh area of focus, which has happened. So as we go through, if you can show the next slide, Tim. It costs nothing to support the environment and to have an impact individually or on your club. However, if you want to have a global impact or a region outside of our district and Australia-wide, you're going to have to join ESRAG. And the benefits of that are that we can have an impact of more and more influence right across the board, both globally, both nationally, and New Zealand and the Pacific Islands, and also multi-districts. So it's really important that you actually come on board and support us, because the membership fee is $30 per annum. That's US dollars. It's about $45 Australian. You can, for Rotaractors, it's half price. Interactors are free. What this does, it gives you more access to a broader range of grants that you can apply for. In Victoria, there's also Rotarians for bees. It's not just bees though, it's pollinators right across the board. And if you like, have a look at this little slide here from the outgoing President, Mark Maloney. To share that Rotary International has created a new area of focus. Support the environment. It'll give Rotarians and Rotaractors even more ways to bring about change in the world. What's happening now is, as of today, ESRAG, ANZPI, which is the Australian New Zealand Pacific Island chapter, has a website up. There's members from New Zealand, and there's this morning 74 members of ESRAG ANZPI. So what we're trying to do is get people on board so that we can actually do things as a group and improve your projects. What's your club doing environmentally? Are you doing anything? Or most clubs are doing a heap of stuff like gardens, parks, river restoration, all sorts of things. So you need to let me know so that I can actually pass it on so that you can get support from other clubs. So if there's somebody in your club that wants to come on board, would like to be a member, would like to keep me informed, I'm more than happy to work through and keep them informed. So some of the things you can do: reduce your waste, recycle, reuse, get that circular motion going so that you can improve things throughout your district and the world. Now I'd like to hand over to a very nice Collingwood supporter who happens to be Peter Dell. So Peter, over to you, mate.
Sorry, thanks, Robin. Yeah, Collingwood did come second, but we won't talk about that. Dream Cricket is it's 10 years old in Australia. Started in Barrel, Mittagong, quite appropriate because it's Don Bradman's hometown. Dream Cricket is games based on cricket for physically, mentally and sight impaired children, mostly between grades 3 and 6, but we've found from experience that some children in prep and even up to year 12 can get a lot of benefit from it. There are 17 special schools in our district between sort of Rosebud and Orbost, and there are 87 special schools in Victoria. My position at the moment is that I'm president of Dream Cricket Australia, but obviously we're in lockdown at the moment, or we can't do anything, and we're just trying to wait until the day that we can get back into schools all over Australia. The idea is that these games, that you don't actually play cricket, but the games where the kids can practice batting, bowling, fielding, catching and throwing. And it doesn't matter what the disability is. Children that may only use one hand to throw a ball, it's all about success. And these games that we do can be played indoors or outdoors. We have go to the Rotary clubs and see if the Rotary clubs are interested with a school near them. If they are, we go to the school, organise a clinic, and no school or Rotary club in Australia said no yet. And we show the schools how it works with groups of 6 or 7 groups of 4 or 5 kids doing each activity for about 5 minutes each, because that's probably long enough for most of these kids. About 20 seconds is long enough for some of them, but we got to keep them amused. And we had a girl in a wheelchair that could move one arm just a little bit, but take her right up to the Velcro sticky wicket and throw the ball that hits the Velcro, and a big smile on their face. It makes it all worthwhile. So the idea is that if the schools like the program, the local Rotary Club provides a kit, which is at the moment about $500, and the school uses that as they see fit every day, every week, or whenever. And then what we would organise is a gala day, which most of us would remember a combined school sports day. We invite 7 or 8 schools within about an hour and a half drive to come along, and we play all these games. And we've had Steve Waugh at Barrel. John Howard is the patron of Dream Cricket, and we've taken it to India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, New Zealand, and we hope to have it in all states of Australia. I'm coordinating Victoria and Tasmania at the moment, and this is where some help would be most welcome. You don't have to be a cricketer or you're interested in kids. And I'll tell you, if you haven't been there before, you get 2 minutes in one of those schools, you have so much admiration for the staff and the carers. So it's just a matter of, clinic takes about 2 hours to run, and once a year have a gala sports day. So if anybody in the district is interested, is like helping me organise it or become a coordinator in a certain area, like Mornington Peninsula or East Gippsland or whatever, we'd be most grateful. And we provide the equipment and the advice, do a short course to become a coordinator, and we'll go from there. So our aim is to hopefully have every child in Australia, every special interest child in Australia given the opportunity to play dream cricket sometime in the next 3 years. So thank you. And now I'll hand it over to my wife, Sally, who is a trachoma champion for District 9820. Go for it.
Thank you, Peter. I'm very, very proud to be the district champion for trachoma by 2020. You might say, well, what is trachoma? Trachoma is an eye infection and it is highly, highly preventable. Sadly, Australia is the only developed country in the world with trachoma, so it really is a national disgrace. We, along with other stakeholders, are working towards the elimination of trachoma, and as you can see and visualise, that trachoma is rather a complex situation in Australia, and our goal for 2020 is to provide hygiene infrastructure asked for by our Indigenous communities and to be owned by them, so that they are empowered now and into the future with the tools and knowledge that they need to sustain strong minds and bodies. So the strategy that we were using is the SAFE strategy. So there is surgery to reposition turned-in eyelashes, and that's extremely painful. And if you get to that stage, that's really, really bad. So what we're trying to do is to do all these strategies that are working. So the government, along with lots of other stakeholders, are providing antibiotics, and the things that we are working on is the F strategy for facial cleanliness, and many of you will know that we've supplied lots of mirrors into all the communities that are affected by trachoma, and we also supply face washes. That's working really well, and within our program we are supplying hygiene bags to children. This has worked particularly well, and recently we went to Alice Springs and took 100 hygiene bags. They went out to several communities, Docker River and Mount Liebig, and we are finding that this is one of the most important things we were doing, and people are really wanting the hygiene bags. The environmental cleanliness, we're working on having safe bathrooms for people, and we're finding that many Indigenous communities have overcrowding, and we're getting people to go in to make sure that their plumbing is right and proper bathrooms, which will really help with good hygiene practices. So this SAFE strategy, people are working with that around the world, and it's working. So we're very proud that we've got the right strategy. Thanks, Tim. Just a quick chart to show you that the estimates of working amongst children between the ages of 5 and 9 are most important. And this is why we're trying to get into schools and to make sure that the children have individual face washes so that they can do these sorts of things every day. So getting back to the little children, we would like to encourage the new mothers to be aware of trachoma, because this is where we think it's needed, that 1 to 4 year old. So our district, and I'm very, very proud to say it, we've been working with trachoma since 2017, and our district has actually donated just over $84,000 to this project. So people have really taken this project on. Just briefly, we've got some projects that we've been working on, and we've done things like supplied 7,230 mirrors across WA, South Australia and the Northern Territory, educational water trailers, portable potable water tanks for people. We've worked in with donations in kind, and we've put laundry facilities in many communities. We've got lots of other projects that we're working on, and we certainly have wish lists. So as you can see, we keep in touch with every district in Australia, and the Trachoma program is actually an Australian Rotary project for every club. Thanks, Tim. These water tanks are proving very popular because they can go into communities for things like sorry days and sports days, all sorts of things. And it provides people to be able to wash their hands and just have very, very safe community days. So they're quite expensive, but our program feels that they are very important, and we've also got some educational trailers. So the National Mirror Project has been very, very successful, and a lot of our clubs have contributed money towards that. So that's been an outstanding success. Thank you. This is what we were previously talking about, that we've got to have good hardware in our homes, and also our software, which includes the hygiene packs, face washers and mirrors. And it's very important that we get those out to the communities. It's really been interesting with COVID that we've been on this theme of good hygiene practices. So when we took the hygiene kits to Alice Springs, they just couldn't show their appreciation enough. It was perfect timing that we have the hygiene bags, and we are still working on those. So just to finish off, this is our wish list for 2020, and we hope that all our communities and district will still keep contributing so that we can finish these projects. Thank you, Tim. And now I would like to introduce Marty Shepherd, who will talk to you about Australian Rotary Health.
Thanks, Sally. It's Marty Shepherd here from the Rotary Club of Langwarrin, and I'm new to the position of District Chair for Australian Rotary Health, and very honoured to be in this position. Australian Rotary Health has been around for many years. It's one of the largest independent funders of mental health research within Australia. The 4 areas of focus are there for the mental health, the general health, and so importantly, the Indigenous health, rural medical and nursing scholarships are there as well. They're probably best known for Lift the Lid on mental illness. Mental illness is, of course, an area that affects so many of us right through Australia, and of even more importance right now with COVID. It would be very interesting to talk to everybody here today and find out what their club has done in association with Australian Rotary Health, and if they've participated in the Lift the Lid afternoon teas, which are so common. The research behind Lift the Lid, those podcasts are available at Google Play and at the App Store. There's now 10 episodes there that are well worth listening to, well worth presenting at your club level. If you're looking for anything for Australian Rotary Health to present, well worth watching any of those. And there are my contact details. When you talk about Australian Rotary Health, please remember that the enormous expertise across the health fields that their board brings to the game, and the large number of programs in research that are there. They're very vast, a huge list for them. Introducing now is Brian Norris, and he's our mentoring champion.
Thanks, Marty. Mentoring comes under the vocational service banner, and mentoring has been a part of Rotary activities for many, many years, probably from the beginning. But I want to talk about a specific mentoring activity today. And then since 2007, Rotary has been partnering with the Victoria Police and the Ambulance Victoria to provide mentoring programs for high-performing leaders. And as a result, the mentees, which is a very awkward word, but mentees build sustainable partnerships with community groups and lead with integrity. For Rotarians, mentoring provides a way to strengthen leadership in the community. A Rotary mentor supports emerging leaders to help build their confidence, self-awareness and professional skills, network and develop a greater understanding of their potential as a leader in their field and within the community to influence and motivate others. As a Rotarian, if you are looking for a way to make a positive contribution and leave a lasting legacy, bring your leadership experience to good use and pay it forward by becoming a Rotary mentor. And as a mentor, your role will be to share your professional and personal leadership skills and experiences to help support, grow and develop a participant's leadership skills and confidence. Now, I mentioned that we've really been operating with the Victoria Police and Ambulance Victoria, but that's likely to be expanded into the SES and perhaps CFA in the future. The Rotary Club of Leongatha is already forming a partnership with Ambulance Victoria in this area, and they will be mentoring a senior ambulance officer in the Leongatha area in the not too distant future. Clubs, if you're interested in getting involved in this, please contact myself or Kerry Schmidt. So I'd like now to hand over to Jean Malmo, who will talk to us about Probus. You're on mute, Jean.
It's better?
Yep.
Okay, Jean Malmo. I've been District Probus Chair for quite some years now, having done it initially when we did go to Sydney for training, and then there was a bit of a lapse and I've taken it on again. And yes, on Tim. Okay, Probus clubs are typically sponsored by local Rotary clubs, which I guess some people don't realise. Clubs are community-based and the majority of them are now mixed gender. In saying that, in my Maffra area, we have two very strong clubs, one a male club and one female, and they're standing that way and they're doing well. But the majority of newer clubs, I think, are looking to be more mixed gender. That seems to be the way of the world, as is Rotary, I guess. It comes from from professional and biz from business. But originally, and I know this even in Maffra, members were drawn from just these two groups and they were scrutinised quite heavily. But nowadays, membership is now more open to all. And the problem is really that they are popular and you go on a waiting list and you just have to wait. So it's up to Rotary and people like me as district chairs to look to starting new clubs in areas where there is a need. And that is the case at the moment with Sale. They have no Probus club there, and that's something that the hierarchy in Sydney are looking at to see whether we will start one up there. But of course, COVID has put into that for a while. Probus is just about fun, friendship and fellowship. The movement began in the UK in 1965. In 74, Probus expanded into New Zealand and into Australia in 76. Thanks, Tim. It allows you to remain mentally and physically fit in retirement. I guess that's what it is about. The focus is on social interaction and stimulation gained from fellow members, lots of trips and activities and guest speakers. And the difference, I guess, between Rotary and Probus is that Probus does not claim to be a service club. In saying that, a similarity is that both organisations do have issues attracting members who want to be office bearers. Now, that's not the case in all clubs, of course, nor is it the case in all Rotary clubs, but there are smaller clubs, I guess, who do have those issues, and that is a similarity. But it's going gangbusters and people who are in it absolutely enjoy it, and it is just about fun and fellowship. Thank you. So back to Tim. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Jean. I'm sorry I've not been perfect on the slides, but I've done my best.
You've done very well, Tim.
Kerry, over to you.
Okay, I'd just like to thank everyone for their presentations today, and hopefully everyone that's online got something out of it. As I said, the idea of the district portfolios is not to detract from what clubs do, it's to complement it. Now, I have had a couple of questions actually emailed to me before we started, and District Governor Mark, I'm going to put you on the spot. One of the questions that I was asked was around Purple House. Immediate past Governor Adrian had circulated a letter regarding Purple House. I'm just wondering if you can expand on the club's involvement in that and the district's involvement, please.
Thank you, Kerry. Well, goes back a couple of years. If we all remember past District Governor Jan Spears' multi-district conference, Purple Bus was there, and our district has certainly taken a keen interest in it. For those that don't know Purple House, it is a bus, it's more than a bus, it's a community of kidney dialysis machines that move around, based out of Alice Springs, and move out to the different communities, because the Indigenous people need to go off country traditionally to go and get health and support. So this was a way of keeping the Indigenous people in their country, and so our district has certainly had a keen interest in it and has certainly supported it in the past, and we will continue to do so going forward.
Thanks, Mark. Another question that I've had come in, can anyone become a member of the Environmental and Sustainability Committee? I think Rob, you touched on that and said it was $30, but is there any skills or anything special that you need to do?
No, they just need to get in touch with me. As I said, you can join ESRAG and you will get access to uploading your club's projects and a lot more details as well. Plus the membership fee, because it's a brand new Rotary Action Group, it doesn't have a lot of funds to start off with. So its membership pays in and allows other organisations, or the organisation, to distribute funds to keep things going. And I'm just going to go through a couple that come in. There's Timor-Leste, there's been solar panels for remote villages so that they've got access to power, and that means that they can therefore get online and they can therefore communicate with the rest of the world. There's water towers, some things, I'm trying to think, and a whole lot of other things. The other thing you have access to is if you go to the ESRAG website, you'll see there's 12 chapters worldwide, which we're one, but you also have access to the huge amount of projects that are going on worldwide, and you can tap into that and get more information about what's going on and what you can do in your particular area. So there's just a huge, massive array group of activities that you can get involved in. It's just massive.
Thanks, Rob. If anybody's got any questions, I see Tim's just put a post out to enter them into the chat room. So please do that, or put your hand up, we'll address that. Another question that was emailed in is actually around mentoring, Brian. Can clubs and individual members mentor small businesses in their area?
Yes, well, the activities that I'm associated with mentoring, it's a very focused area. I mean, and Rotary clubs have been involved with mentoring for, since the beginning, really. And, well, all of us, I think, have been involved with mentoring secondary school kids, like at mock interviews and things like that. And certainly clubs should be encouraged to expand on those mentoring type activities. I know one club asked me about that and whether they could undertake mentoring activities for small business. Of course they can. as part of their vocational service activities, and we would strongly encourage that. So the area I'm involved in is, as I say, very focused, but clubs should be extending their mentoring activity as widely as possible.
Thanks, Brian. Sally, a question's come in for you. When are you planning another trip out back?
Certainly, Peter and I intend to go to Alice Springs as soon as the borders are open again. It's a top priority, and so as soon as it's safe and legal to go, we'll be going.
6 months.
But in the meantime, we do have some connections, and we've just sent off quite a few boxes of goods which were delivered to Alice Springs possibly 3 weeks ago. So we certainly keep doing that. Another question, do you want people? Yes, we do. Janet, we would love more face washes and soaps and things like toothbrushes, toothpaste, hair shampoo, and 1 litre water bottles. That's a very important content to have in our hygiene bags.
And Sally, do you buy those locally or do you take them with you?
No, we make the bags here, and we have everything supplied within the clubs, and we take them with us. But down the track, we could just take the hygiene bags and support local people in Alice Springs. But just at this stage, we're just doing it locally.
Okay. Rob, you had a question?
Yeah, more a statement. When Sally mentioned she's heading bush, the Rotary Club of Frankston, about 20 members, were heading up to Cameron Corner to help the reintroduction of endangered species into the top end corner there. There's a national park there, or a state park, and we were going to go back up there. We've got animal pouches ready to go and all sorts of things. So we're heading back up that way, hopefully later on this year. Again, as soon as the borders open.
Yeah.
Governor Mark, did I see your hand go up?
Yeah, I'd just like to also add, Sally, that as we know, R100 is the 100 years of Rotary in Australia, and the R100 team have also picked up the Intralcoma as another one of its major projects. So again, exactly as Sally has been saying, you want an R100 project to support within your clubs and your clusters. There is another perfect example of supporting Rotary 100 years and battling Intralcoma.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark. A question to you, Peter, around dream cricket. Does it need to be an individual Rotarian that helps with the committee and the program, or can it be clubs?
I could certainly be clubs. There are some clubs that in New South Wales that take it on, but each club, some clubs, small clubs, and some small schools, the Rotarians actually go into the school once a fortnight or once a week to help out, because there's not enough staff to do that because they're preoccupied. Some of the big schools with 180, 200 kids, they can run it themselves, but certainly whole clubs can go and help every fortnight, especially when we get to the gala days. Clubs just take over, and we need 50, 60, 70 people to help run them on that day. So we can fit in as many people, as many clubs as possible. We can't have too many.
Thanks, Peter. That's a good opportunity. A question for you, Don. Can you tell us a few of the fellowships that local Rotarians are involved in? Now, I'll qualify that. No means you've also got latitude 38 members, and we're all over the place.
So you're considering yourself local, Kerry?
No, we're a big network.
There are at least 12 fellowships that have members already from 9820. As I said earlier, the genesis of the cruising Rotarians was from the Rotary Club of Traralgon. We've got members of the Motorcycling Fellowship, the Rotarians on Amateur Radio, the Caravanners, home hosting, that's just in the recreational fellowships. The International Yachting Fellowship, the largest fleet in Zone 8, in Tim's zone, is in our district. There's around about 70 participants, 35 members, and most of them have a partner. So we have a really big involvement in the fellowships. One of the slides you didn't see was how you start one, because I talked too long and Tim decided to cut me off. No, that's not right, mate. Oh yes, well, the Rotarian swine. Ted.
Wine appreciation.
Yeah. Look, there are 90 fellowships. So almost the Global History Group, the Rotarians on the internet, which is pretty much redundant now because we all are, but the Computer Users Fellowship of Rotarians started in 1992, and its first it popped out at the Melbourne Convention in 1993. I'm heavily involved with the Birdwatching Fellowship. I've been their webmaster since 1992, and we've just had meetings all over the world using Zoom. This has been a real blessing, this blooming COVID, because it's taught us that we can actually communicate when previously we didn't. And it's... Yeah, but no, look, I could do a list of those that we know have members in 9820, but happy for anybody to, I can provide a list of all of the existing fellowships, and if there's one that you think should exist and doesn't, there's a pretty easy process to establish it. And Ray Sheffers would be a good one to speak to, because he and a couple of others did that from Traralgon.
Thanks, Don. Another question for you, Brian. How does a club get involved in the mentoring program?
Oh, well, simply they contact me as a champion. There is a Victorian multi-district committee which manages the police and the ambulance mentoring program, and Francesco is the chair of that. I think he's the chair, but he is very keen, and he'll help you out too. There's a website, and I'm not sure whether it's on the contact list. It's maybe not, but there is a Rotary mentoring website which you can go to, which will give you more information. But contact me in the first instance if you're interested.
Thanks, Brian. Another question was around the committee being available for speaking spots when clubs are looking for speakers around in vocational times, and as they are adjusting to the Zoom environment. I'm probably going to speak for the committee there and say yes, we are all willing and able to present to clubs. So thanks, Rob, for your support there. Yeah, so if clubs are looking for guest speakers, any of the committee are willing to either visit or online, depending on location. And as Peter mentioned, we're looking for committee members for the individual committees so that we can provide better support for you. So please reach out from there. Any other questions? Yes, Rob.
If you go to the ESRAG website, there's a whole lot of short videos that address a whole lot of environmental issues. So if you're interested, go to the ESRAG website and have a look at the stuff like the World Environment Day. There's 4 presentations there, go for about 20 minutes, and a whole lot of others that you can actually use at the club meetings. So if you don't have a guest speaker or you're not sure, have a look at that and you can download. That's why they've been broken up into chunks so clubs can use them.
Thanks, Rob. Now I can see that the link for the different fellowships has gone up, and Tim Moore is kindly going to send all registrants a copy of the PowerPoint presentation and a link to the recording. I should have told you at the start that we were recording this for those that weren't able to join us. If there's no questions from the panel on or attendees, I'll hand over to...
Kerry?
Yeah.
Sally, can I just make one comment that's fairly important? We've had quite a lot of inquiry on how people can collect items for our hygiene bags, and people have been very, very generous, but just wanted to make a comment about deodorants. We don't want the aerosol deodorants because we don't want children sniffing them and that adults, but we would be very happy with roll-on deodorants. And you can't really get those in a big size, but it's still important that we have the deodorants, but not the aerosol ones.
Thanks, Sally.
Thank you.
John, did you have a question
Kerry,
for us?
Kerry, I had a question.
Yeah.
Bill here.
Go ahead, Bill.
I'm not sure. I think it might have been Marty had some videos that were on YouTube or one of these other platforms. Is it possible for us to put them up on our YouTube channel, on the district YouTube channel?
Perhaps best if we have links to them rather than copy them up. That's the easiest way, I think. Mark?
And sorry, Mark, it wasn't Marty that had them. It was someone else. Rob, was it you that had the videos on your?
Yeah, I just chose one random. There's a huge number of environmental links, but I mean, just go to YouTube and Google it. But we'll also put up the links to a whole lot of the other stuff that are coming up through ESRAG. I'll keep you informed with that through our network, Mark.
Thank you.
Now, John Fallon, did you have a question or a comment?
No, sorry, Kerry. I was trying to grab your attention for Bill.
Oh.
Waiting patiently.
I'm skipping backwards and forwards across the screens. So I would just like to say thank you very much to the presenters for today, and as an audience, you're awesome. So thank you for your time, your attention and your engagement. And I'll just hand to District Governor Mark now, please.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you, Kerry. And thank you, Kerry, for putting this together today. It has been absolutely fantastic. And thank you to all the speakers. You know, community portfolio really is exactly like we've been hearing today. It's to enhance what you are doing within your local areas and looking at perhaps some of the bigger pictures. During the Mark Maloney and Holger Knack changeover, Mark Maloney mentioned that so far in the last 5 years, we've already put in $18 million into the environment. So now that environment is one of the seventh area of focus, that goes to show you that Rotary really is serious about looking after our environment. So I just encourage you, Rob's sitting up there in my top left-hand corner, wanting to be flooded with work and ideas and all that, so start harassing him. You know, working with the environment, what a great way of engaging our broader community, because everybody from the young to the old see our environment as a place that we really need to engage. So you can now suddenly look at environment and perhaps use it as a membership tool as well. And I'd also like to say with our mentoring program, as Brian, past District Governor Brian has said, you know, we've been doing mentoring for quite some years. And really, you know, in the vocational space, we are told to go and use our skills. And the mentoring space is one of those spaces that we can really get out there. We can do it in the emergency services space. We can do it in our schools. We have the skills. We are charged to impart those skills to our wider communities. And the fellowships, there are lots of them. There's even one for the Whiskey Drinkers Association. So, hey, I mean, if you can't find a fellowship for yourself, you're just not trying hard enough. You know, they are everywhere, and they are a great link for us to be engaged with other people. You don't have to be in our own local area. You can engage with people, you know, sit down, have a dram of whiskey with somebody on the other side of the world. The fellowships are an amazing part of the Rotary family. So I just encourage people to have a look and get involved. And I know past District Governor Don will come to any club and talk about them. He loves them. So again, thank you everyone for attending today. It's been fantastic. And thank you, Kerry, for putting this together. Thanks all, everyone.